Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. I know it's a late one, but the Silver and Black had a scrimmage practice today, which started at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and it just ended late now. I'll tell you all the drives that ended up happening today. I know that Gardner had multiple drives, Aiden had multiple drives, and I'll kind of just run through how all those drives went and then give you my biggest takeaways at the end of today's show. I know that it's late, but you know what, man? We got that commitment to excellence, and the fact that the Raiders are practicing this late, I think it's just one of those things that sometimes you got to go above and beyond and do things that other NFL teams aren't willing to do, and I think that's exactly what Antonio Pierce is doing. If you love the Silver and Black, make sure you're subscribed for videos every single day here at the Raiders Report. All right, I thought one of the first things that happened right from the jump in the scrimmage was Jack Jones back there returning and made a few guys miss, took it to the house, had a touchdown, I think, for the Raiders in these new kickoff roles. I mean, you've seen Jack Jones, Laubie's been back there, Trey Tucker, Nate Hobbs, heck, Tyree McAllister has been a player that has returned some kicks even at training camp. But the fact that Jack Jones took one to the house, I think it just goes to show how elite of an athlete he is. And you could definitely tell this offseason that he has gained that extra step. He is much quicker. You can see the acceleration, really came in motivated, and I like to see that from Jack. Then the first drive where the offense took the field was Gardner Minshew leading at QB, which I did find to be pretty interesting. Maxx Crosby had a huge sack up against Minshew, which I think really kind of like shook it up, and people were like, all right, man, like this is back to real life football, which you like to see. Minshew then hit, Zamir White for a pass, which you want to be able to see that he can handle just being able to catch the football, I think, this offseason, because if he does want to be that true workhorse, not just work with them, then he's got to learn how to catch the football. I thought also the tackle made by Robert Spillane was a really good another test to show like that physicality on Zeus, and those are two guys that when they get matched up, and hell, I would love to see an Oklahoma drill between those guys. Next play that ended up happening was Minshew then hit Brock Bowers, and they're using Bowers all over the football field, so that's encouraging. Even though this drive didn't end in a score, Minshew did end up, escaping from the pocket, picked up a first down with his legs, which, is just going to be one of those things that might separate Minshew from Aiden O'Connell. Next thing then was the following drive here with Aiden. Before I get into that, though, if there is one major takeaway that I have from today's scrimmage practice, it was Gardner Minshew flat out outplayed Aiden O'Connell. I thought Minshew looked good. Aiden, just being honest with y'all, really, really struggled out there. So my question is right now, if you had to bet, like your house, if you had to put some chips on the table, I'm going to make this the pinned comment here on today's show, so I want you to scroll on down and give me your answer. Who is going to be the Raiders' starting quarterback? Because I know we hear training camp, but to me, scrimmages, that means a little bit more. I want a guy that's a gamer. And if Gardner's that gamer, even if Aiden's better in practice, it's just going to be something to look at and consider. But let me know down below who's going to be the Raiders' starting quarterback after you hearing Aiden struggling today and Gardner was just flat out better. Let's go to the Aiden's first drive then, and if there was one player that I really thought, has continued to help out his training camp buzz, it is Pola Mao. He's no doubt the third safety, but I'm starting to wonder if he's going to challenge, if Divine Diablo struggles, could you see Pola Mao play a little bit more of this hybrid linebacker safety role like we heard about last season, because he was flying all over the football field. Early first play was like a pitch to Alexander Mattison. Pola Mao read it really, really nicely. AOC did hit Keaton Ramel, who continues to have a really good past couple of days at training camp, and I'm going to be dropping a video tomorrow that I recorded on Friday. It was about top 10 players that I didn't have originally making my 53-man roster. I'm telling you right now, after getting some of the notes that I've gotten just over the past 48 hours on Ramel Keaton, he might be the UDFA, not Tulu Griffin, that could make this roster as a wide receiver, and y'all know how much I like Tulu Griffin. But AOC hit Ramel Keaton, and then Aiden did try to throw a ball down the field. And, I don't want to rip on Aiden too much for this because I like the fact that they are trying to stretch the field. This is a scrimmage after all. He tried to throw one deep. It was a really, really bad throw, and then it ended up landing in the lap of Pola Mao for his second interception of training camp. I think it just goes to show that, that's really good play. It's a really big play for Isaiah because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we are getting those turnovers after all. So then it was Anthony Brown's turn. He ended up taking the field here. Nice little pass completion, which he was able to use his legs to buy some time. And that's the other thing that Anthony Brown's going to be able to do is use those legs a little bit more. Then Noah Shannon, UDFA defensive tackle, had a really nice stop for a loss, which I thought was worth making a note of. Sam Webb had a nice play. I'll be honest, the note that I got was they don't even know if it was a fumble or if it was just like a play where the ball went on the ground. Was it an actual fumble, though? I got an I don't know emoji from him, so that's one thing. I do know then a few plays later, Trey Taylor did end up forcing a fumble on Anthony Brown's drive, so that one kind of stalled there a little bit shorter. Coming up next year, though, I'll tell you what happened on Aiden's second drive, because I thought it was interesting that they went Minshew, Aiden, Anthony Brown, and then they went back to Aidan O'Connell, and I'll tell you what he did. For those that don't know, though, Chuggs and I, we are going to be in North Carolina for week 1 when the Raiders take on the Los Angeles Chargers. I hope you guys are there hanging out with us. I'm going to put this link, chatsports.com/week1, in the description and comments of today's show. If you want to hang out with Chuggs and I when we do our watch party, please, if you're in the North Carolina area, would greatly appreciate it. And then on the Saturday before that day, so September 7th, we're doing a raffle. 20 people are going to go to Topgolf with us. We're going to have food. We're going to have drinks. It's going to be a good time. I'm terrible at golf, but I like to at least, chop it up a little bit. I'm going to try to smash some golf balls. But if anybody's out there that likes to golf, likes to have a good time, that link is going to be chatsports.com/Topgolf, which is also going to be down in the comments in the description of today's show. Bottom line, if you live on the East Coast and you want to hang out with Chuggs and I, and I'm talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Raiders fans, pull up. It's going to be a lot of fun, and they're going to be giving away tons and tons of prizes as well. All right, so Aiden O'Connell's second drive, DJ Glaze, I should have mentioned this earlier, which this is a big note. He was getting first team reps at right tackle, which, one of the notes that has been very well reported is that Telesco really likes what he sees out of Glaze, and the Raiders have been encouraged from what they've seen out of him too. Reminder, Munford the other day left practice with a hand injury. He did end up coming back. I'm hoping that the Raiders want to see what Glaze has because of how well he has been practicing, and it's not just like Thayer's been struggling. But another thing that the Raiders could potentially do, and this has been an idea that I've thrown out there, is you put DJ Glaze at right tackle, and we know that Thayer can play on that left side, so depending on the JPJ Colton Miller injury, that could be just another option with the versatility here for this Raiders offensive line. AOC did hit Michael Mayer on a nice little short pass, and then he hit Trey Tucker on a short pass. The problem with this drive was that it stalled and just wasn't really having a lot going. They brought out Daniel Carlson for, I'm going to say it was right around a 51-yard field goal attempt, and he missed it, right? And, one of my concerns with Carlson was 2 years ago, he was much, much better, and not that he's bad at all. He's still, in my opinion, like a top 5, top 6 kicker in the NFL. But I feel like last season took a little bit of a step back, and then, him missing this 50-yarder here in a scrimmage, you just want to see Carlson be able to knock those through. But since we were just talking about DJ Glaze, here's a question for you. Week 1 against the Los Angeles Chargers, man, it's going to be here quicker than we even know it. Who do you think ends up starting at right tackle for the Silver and Black? If you think it's going to be DJ Glaze, I want you to type DJ. If you think it's going to be Thayer Munford, type TM down in the comments section below. I like what I see out of Glaze. I'm still going to have faith that it is going to be Thayer Munford. But if the injuries to Colton and JPJ do scare them, with Cody Whitehair struggling the way that he's being and Andres Pete just having the injuries that he's had throughout his career, just something to at least monitor. Minshew's second drive. Let's go to this one. Raiders were working the 2-minute drill, which I like the fact that they did. And sometimes when you look at these scrimmages, it's like you can't just look at the drives themselves. You have to look at the situation that the coaches are putting them in because, that's obviously important. So the fact that Minshew was able to go out there and execute a 2-minute drive, I think this was probably one of the better drives, if not the best drive of the entire scrimmage. But he hit DJ Turner on a nice pass on the sideline, so, Turner's able to get out of bounds quickly. Then Minshew goes back to the sideline, hit Dylan Laube, so the fact that those two had a nice little rapport, that was good, able to get out of bounds. Minshew then found UDFA Ramel Keaton across the middle for a good first down pickup. I want to say it was like 15, 14 yards in there. But Keaton also had two pickups on this drive. So, you're seeing multiple drives where Randall Keaton, this UDFA, who's taking advantage of the fact that, Michael Gallup, he retired, Jalen Guyton's been banged up, and there's just a lot of other receivers out there that, hey, let's face it, with Devontae Adams getting ready to have his first baby boy, again, congratulations to Tay. It's going to be down to which of these young guys step up, and it looks like Randall's one of these players right now that's stepping up. Then Minshew, and this was a really pretty pass to Harrison Bryant. He had to kind of crouch down to go down and get it, but it was a really nice play by Minshew, by Harrison Bryant. Really pretty throw, and it was the first touchdown of the scrimmage. So Gardner Minshew on 2 drives ended up putting 1 in for a touchdown, which now brings us to Aiden's 3rd drive. And this drive, I would say the most impactful thing that I saw was just the simple fact of Tyree Wilson was making an impact. And, Tyree's one of these players that we're all really, really hoping can put it together because, if Wilson does have that ability to legitimately, take us to that next level and his defensive play is as good as what we are hoping that it is end up being, I do really, really, and I mean really, really hope that, Tyree Wilson can take us to the next level. But he got a sack. He started to get a little bit of pressure here, which you like to see. And then DeCamerion Richardson did have a really nice PBU in the end zone. So Aiden, unfortunately, if you look at all 3 of his drives, he went 0 for 3 to start, which definitely not very encouraging after all. So then Gardner Minshew's, what is this now, 3rd drive from my notes. Sorry, a little scrambled here. Chuck's also... he's a little upset today. The fact that I cleaned the house all day today. My fiance Alex, she's working in California. She's in San Francisco right now. If anybody's out in that area, and he just sat right next to me. He's like, "What are you doing? It's 10 o'clock at night here where you're at, and yet you're still talking about the Raiders." But hey, he gets it after all. So then the next drive for Gardner Minshew, he was this was I think just a dominant defensive stand here. You got Wilkins who just hit him, and it was another really good hit. So they're getting that interior pressure here on Gardner, followed by Maxx, who he was flying all over the football field, and they tried to double team him a few times. He ended up getting a holding call here, and then it was a pretty not great pass, I'll be honest. But again, when you're just getting the pressure that Wilkins, Crosby, and that entire defensive line is getting, high pass, tried to hit Trey Tucker with it. I don't know if he should have caught it or not. I asked my buddy who was there, and I'm like, "What do you think?" And he said, "You would like for him to bring it down, but it was not an easy catch whatsoever. Forced the pressure, and then, Jack Jones ended up picking it off." So, you had an opportunity where, you were trying to move the football, but, I'm not really going to put that one on Gardner. Yes, he threw an interception, but based off the text that I got from my buddy, it was a lot of pressure from Wilkins, a lot of pressure from Crosby that entire drive. Did throw it a little bit high, kind of went through Tucker's hands, and, Jones ended up picking it off. So then, with Gardner trying to pick up a first down, I think it was just because of that pressure, tried to roll out, and could have been a better throw again, but Trey Tucker. So then the next drive followed up here by Aiden. This is his 4th drive at this point. He's 0 for 3 standing in here. Was able to hit Michael Mayer on the sideline. You really like to see something like that. And then, unfortunately, it's 3rd down and 15. This is according to Vic Tafer. So this one, literally, I'm just getting the note here from Vic. AOC rolls out, throws it up for grabs, and it's intercepted by MJ Devonshire. So, that is 4 drives by Aiden, 2 ending in an interception, another ending in a missed field goal opportunity. I know when people are going to click into this video, this is a day that I thought, this is the defense. The defense is going to be dominating most days, and they went out there and they did their thing, right? Jack Jones had a special teams touchdown. He had an interception. MJ Devonshire had an interception. Pola Mao had an interception. This was a day definitely won by the defense, which has been kind of the same story throughout this entire training camp process. The defense has been outplaying the offense from top to bottom, and I'm not really all surprised by that when you have the defense that this Raiders team has, and you have, let's face it, the quarterbacks that we have learning a brand new offense. You're just going to have to deal with some of those struggles, but I don't love the fact that Aiden had a rough day today, especially because he had such a good day on Friday. Dude was straight up cooking on Friday. But, like, I always go back to the Davante Adams quote. And the Davante Adams quote earlier this season was like, basically like, I just want a guy who goes out there and he games and he can throw pills or throw bullets in live action. I do think that Aiden is one of these quarterbacks that, you know, he can probably go out there and execute during practice time and games. You see some of the ups and downs. And, I mean, Gardner had his ups and downs today too. But there's just always certain players that I think are just maybe a little bit more of a gamer. And I thought today Gardner Minshew overall was just like more of the gamer from top to bottom. Now, I know I'm chilling here at home, but like, hey, man, my job here is to keep you guys up to date. And I'm always here to, you know, talk a little bit of Raiders here and there. You will be getting a video tomorrow, and that, again, is going to be around like 10 players that I did not originally have in my 53-man roster that I think could potentially make the Raiders team this upcoming season. If anybody else has any other questions, anybody wants to DM me anything, we've been doing a lot more often during our live shows where we've been answering questions on Instagram, we've been answering questions on Twitter. If anybody ever wants to try to get one of those questions on the show, if you're on Twitter, if you use hashtag Raiders and you at me, that's the way that I've been looking for them, because we do hashtag Raiders when we're live anyway, like on the show. So it's kind of the exact same thing that we're trying to do on Twitter. If you're on IG, I would say give me a follow and be on the lookout for my Instagram stories. I'll be posting stuff like, hey, if you guys want to submit a question, you can end up getting them in. But overall, practice today was won by the defensive side of the football. Aiden really, really struggled. Minshew was definitely better from top to bottom, but Minshew at least had 2 touchdowns from practice. Bryant had 1. DJ Turner had the other. And then for Aiden O'Connell, it was 2 interceptions. So that's why, to me, Gardner Minshew ended up shining today. He was just clearly the better QB. Aiden definitely took a step back. We'll see what ends up happening on Monday. The Raiders are off on practice tomorrow. I'm also off tomorrow. It's Sunday. Everyone have a great Sunday. I'll see you guys Monday here on the Raiders Report. Shout out to all the real ones out there for staying up late with me and enjoying this show. For even more videos around the Las Vegas Raiders, make sure you click that subscribe button right here. If you want even more content around the silver and black, we're dropping videos all the time. Maybe you can go check out this one right here. Chuck, as you can see, he's like, all right, bro, we're all done here. Practice is over. If you want to see Chuck's favorite videos, they're chilling over here. Shout out to the nation. Peace.